What is up, Steeler Nation? We are back for another week. I hope everyone enjoyed the holiday weekend, but we are ready to bring you that Steeler football training camp. It's coming, Mike. It's coming. How are you?
I'm good. It's coming, but it's slow season a little bit right now. Like the guys are off, they're getting their final vacations in. There's not a lot of news out there to break right now, which is why you can tune into the Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy. We're out here talking Steelers football all week, even when it's slow season. So you come to us, we'll hook you up with your Steelers football fix, even if the guys are not on the field right now and they're out there in Jamaica or wherever they're at.
Most definitely. Well, we always like introducing the new Steelers. So, Sammy, play it and let's get to it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Steelers Crazy.
Aaron Smith shields. Flacco, Polamalu takes it home. Super Bowl 43. Pittsburgh might be bound for that thanks to number 43.
The sickest Pittsburgh Steelers podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
All right, Jordan. One great thing about our podcast is that we don't always introduce the player. We get to introduce the person, too. And this guy has an absolutely incredible story. He's born in Kenya. He doesn't come to the States until he's 9 or 10 years old. Before you know it, he's wearing black and gold right there in the 4-1-2. We're really, really happy to bring in new Pittsburgh Steelers defensive lineman, James Nyamwaya. What's up, James?
What's up? What's going on, guys?
So I hope I nailed it. Nyamwaya. I know we talked about this. First of all, I got to ask, how sick were you in school all the time of people botching that? How often did that happen?
I honestly just started ignoring it, not even paying attention to it at one point. Because if I let it bother me every time, then I'd just be mad forever.
Yeah, you're like sick of correcting people. You're just rolling with whatever at that point. That's for sure, man. We got the Steelers fitted on, the Steelers T-shirt. We love seeing those logos, repping the black and gold already. Here in the Sick Podcast, Steelers Crazy. But first, I want to talk about that background a little bit that I just mentioned. I know it's unconventional for sure. You're somebody who's kind of always been an underdog because you weren't playing football at a young age like a lot of these guys. When did you first start kind of learning about the game of U.S. football growing up as a kid?
Yeah, so probably around middle school, elementary school, because we played in recess and stuff. And then after school, most of the guys would go and do their youth football stuff, and I would probably be doing basketball stuff. So I'd always been a little bit curious about it. My parents really didn't know too much about football. They just knew it was people hitting each other, so they weren't super excited to let me play, but I kind of wanted to myself. So once I got to high school, I was it was kind of more my decision, and I decided that I wanted to do it.
But you didn't play on any organized team as a kid. There weren't organized teams in Kenya, like Pee-wee's, middle school, or anything like that.
No, not at all. I was playing soccer growing up.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, absolutely incredible. What was your first impression of the United States and how passionate people were about the NFL when you got here, man?
I mean, it was just crazy. When I first got here, I was just super excited to be here. It was a crazy opportunity growing up in Kenya my whole life, and then coming here, I was honestly kind of mind blown. I was just excited to get on the plane and stuff, So once I got here, and then I didn't even realize how big of a deal football was to most people until later on in life.
You start off after high school playing D3 football at Curry College. Listen, shout out Curry College. I never heard of Curry College until just this week when we were researching you a little bit. So we got to shout out Curry College.
Yes, sir.
You eventually make your way to Merrimack, where you were living for a while in Massachusetts. Talk about your college career a little bit. I even saw Merrimack had a total enrollment of 5,000, 5,400 people. So some small schools, man. Yeah. What were those experiences like? And how are you acclimating to football in those kind of environments?
Yeah, so like I said, coming from Kenya, I hadn't played too much football and growing up or in high school. So honestly, going to Curry wasn't that bad for me because once I got there, I immediately got a ton of playing time and a ton of exposure. And so I really had a good time just playing football and not really worrying about much at Curry. And then once I realized that I'm just naturally a lot better than most people, I was hey, I should probably take my shot and go try and play at a higher level. And I did, and that's how I ended up at Merrimack. Merrimack is pretty close to my hometown, so I felt like I would have transferred anywhere Division One, but I was glad it was Merrimack because it was close to my hometown, and it kind of just worked out. Coach Dan Kern's a good coach. He was in the league and stuff, so he kind of helped me like find my way and make my way to the league myself as well.
Yeah, I'll say it worked out. All NEC second team players, some big time stats.
Yes,
Obviously, this past year, Jordan.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. What was it like? You get a call from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who specifically called you, and what was your initial reaction? Were you just, I can't imagine what that call's like.
Yeah. So the initial call was from, when it was on draft day, it was around the 7th round. I got a call from my agent.
Mm-hmm.
He had called me, told me a couple of teams wanted me, and like he hung up, or he hadn't said the Steelers yet, and then the Steelers called after the draft and told him that they wanted me too. And like, he called me, he was like, "Hey man, like the Steelers wanted you. I feel like this is a real good situation for you." And I thought about it myself. I really like the Steelers. I like Coach Dunbar, and I was like, yeah, that sounds probably like the best spot for me as well. So I ended up choosing there, and me and my family were all excited, and it was crazy night.
Well, I have to ask because you were talking about Boston. Were you a Patriots fan growing up, or what did you have a specific team? That's kind of like, well, in the past that's been one of the Steelers' biggest rivalries. So.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but I was a Patriots fan. They was winning a lot. I was kind of enjoying it, but
yeah.
But it changes quickly. It changes quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
So what has been the experience overall for you, at OTAs and just being at the facility? Like, is it kind of just surreal, just get to work mentality, able to learn from anyone specific, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so when I first got there, I'm not going to lie, I was super nervous. Like, it was surreal just being in the building, being around those guys. By now, I've adjusted a little bit. I've gotten used to it, but it's still kind of crazy. But yeah, it's just been grinding, honestly, just trying to get better every day. I got a lot of work to do, I feel like, personally, because I wouldn't say I'm at a disadvantage, but coming out of D3 and FCS, I didn't have as good of resources and maybe as good of coaching as some of the guys from the bigger schools that have like way more money and stuff. So I feel like I got to work a little harder and just kind of, I got a little chip on my shoulder to prove I'm not just like the small school guy. Like I'm gonna be out there and I'm gonna be able to do some stuff.
Have you connected with any specific players like that, help you with your game specifically? Any veterans? I'm sure the rookies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've connected a lot with Cam. Obviously, me and all the rookies are all boys, but I've been learning a lot from Cam. Like, obviously, he's been in the league a long time, so I feel like I honestly got a cheat code learning from him because he pretty much is like a genius. He knows everything.
Awesome. I love that quote. That's one of my favorite quotes so far from a lot of these rookies we've had on. I feel like it's a cheat code, learning from Cam Heyward. I think we maybe just found a title of this episode. This is so much fun. You're hanging out listening to Sick Podcast. Steelers, crazy. I want to ask you, James, let's talk a little bit about that scouting report on yourself. You said you have some things you need to work on.
Yeah.
What are those things?
I'd say just using my hands a little bit better, like while I'm pass rushing, and block recognition in the run game. Those are the two specific things I'd say that I need to work on.
Speaking of the run game, how cool would it be to obviously tackle some of these AFC North running backs, man? You got Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, you have, Joe Mixon, potentially. You talk about obviously put the work in and down the line, you get in there. Playing against some of these big guys has to be super appealing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Definitely stuff that I'm going to tell my kids about and my grandkids. I'm going to talk about it forever.
Were you a big Madden guy? You play Madden?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you're playing with these guys, like
exactly.
Steelers, like
so
are playing
weird.
against Cam.
And
you're like trading for him in something in franchise mode, and then it comes full circle. Yeah, what a crazy feeling. All right, how about the other side of the coin? Somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, why are you going to have an impact on this team and make a real dent in the NFL? What are your strengths?"
Yeah, so my strengths is I'm a real big guy. Like, I'm young and I barely had any injuries coming out of college. So a lot of people look at my experience as like kind of negative, but I kind of try to look at it as a positive. Like, I really have a real high upside with the resources and the coaching that I've had. I've been able to do pretty well so far. And so I think that if I just continue and I get here and I utilize all these resources that I really never really had before, that I could really reach some crazy levels. And I'm really all in. I'm ready to work. So if everything goes well, I think I'll be able to make some plays out there.
Definitely. So what's next in terms of training for you? I know you guys have a little bit of, time off, and you said you got some team activities tonight, but, as far as like training, did the Steelers give you like a regiment that you have to follow, or,
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk a little bit about that.
So yeah, like even today we actually were going over what we should do while we're at home training. That's what kind of the lift was today. It was pretty much giving us an overview of what we should be doing at home. We have the option of staying out here and working out up here, but I kind of want to go home and train and kind of see my family for a little bit before I come out and lock in for training camp.
Yeah.
I'll be back at home at XC where I trained for my pro day. I think they did a pretty good job. They got a couple of other pros that train there too, so I think I should be all set.
No days off, right?
Yeah, no days off. Once I get back, straight back to the grind.
Definitely, but it's always good. It's good to be around family because that really just lifts your spirits, and they're going to be cheering for you no matter where they're at. I'm sure they're all excited for you. I can't imagine what that's like. So I'm sure that you made a lot of people proud so far. So off the field, Jay, we always like to ask the guys, what are some of your hobbies, your interests? What do you do when you're not in the weight room or on the football field?
Hobbies and interests. Honestly, I play a lot of Xbox. I'm a big video game guy.
Okay.
I don't got a lot of crazy hobbies. I like going to the movies, hanging out with my friends. Me and a bunch of the rookies, we pretty much go to like a movie pretty much every weekend. We see Guardians of the Galaxy. We saw that new Spider-Man. And Cam Heyward had like a little early release party. We saw that new Justice League too, or the new Flash. That was pretty cool. So yeah, I'm a big movie guy. I like watching movies. I like relaxing after practice and stuff and throwing a movie. That's my kind of thing.
So that's like the Marvel football. Yeah, they're like the Marvel defensive line over here.
There you go. He's gonna direct Marvel movies.
I like that, man. You guys, you're pretty much crushing everything. Well, which one was the best? You got to give us the best out of those three.
I'm gonna tell. It was pretty close between the Spider-Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy one, but I'm gonna say Guardians of the Galaxy was the best for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that was cool.
You're not gonna see that now.
Can never go wrong with Chris Pratt. I mean, come on now.
That's funny stuff.
That's all good stuff. What are people saying to you when you're walking around up there in Steelers hats and Steelers t-shirts? Your buddies who might have been growing up as Patriots fans too. Are they giving you some crap? What do you got going on?
I mean, I haven't been back home yet, so I haven't really got to see them.
Oh, okay, right. Good point.
Are you gonna come decked out in Steeler gear?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You have to. Oh yeah.
I got
you absolutely have to. Good stuff. Well, we're gonna be rooting for you, of course, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. We root for everybody that comes on this show. Of course, everybody in Steeler Nation, regardless, but you guys hold a special place in our hearts for sure. If you ever need anything, of course, feel free to reach out. We're excited to watch you develop your career. We're excited to hopefully have you in Madden and be able to play with you one of these days coming up. That is James Nyamwaya. We appreciate you, man. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Appreciate you guys.
Best of luck.
Yes, sir. I counted 2 definitely. That's it. Did a good job. I love it. It's a running theme now.
It's a transition. We got to get it on a shirt.
Do you get some new glasses, by the way?
I have I just buy a bunch and switch them up. Depends on the season.
Those are some Steelers glasses.
Yeah.
Legit. Like that's like Pittsburgh dad glasses right there. I really respect those. Those are some specs. If they made like a Where's Waldo Steelers edition book, that would be you rocking that right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, always a good time. Obviously, we say it after every show. I know it sounds like a broken record over here, but we always like to introduce the human just as much as the player. And how fun is it for people that watch our podcast to, a lot of times we go into these preseason games, and no offense to a lot of these kids, but you're watching a game and you're like, who is that? Right? Like you just are. No, casual fans don't know 90 men on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster. You're lucky if you know 20 men. But if you watch this podcast as a casual fan, and there's nothing wrong with a casual fan. People have lives, families. Nobody should be studying 90-man rosters like we do over here. But you go into it and you see some of the guys that we've interviewed and you're like, can root for that guy. I know I know he's seen every Marvel movie. I know what he does for a hobby. You know, I saw him on the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy, and Nyamwaya, just another guy that hopefully we'll get to watch this preseason play next to guys like Keanu Benton, another rookie and defensive lineman.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all around good stuff. And I think that what's cool is just these guys' journey, like to get, like he was saying, he grew up in Kenya and he grew up playing soccer. Kind of like another guest we had on here, Gabe. Like, I think just really just in coming to just such a historical franchise, like one day, you just get a call from the Pittsburgh Steelers and it's just like, wow. But it's cool to really tell these stories because this is what it's all about at the end of the day. Football is family, especially Steelers football.
You're going to get a call from the Pittsburgh Steelers next saying we want these glasses to distribute to our fans at the season opener or something. They're going to reproduce thousands of them, and maybe they'll call them the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy glasses.
You never know.
We'll be balling out over here.
Then we'll all be definitely sick. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you rocking with us every week. We're dropping episodes. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast. If they're in black and gold, we're rooting for them. You're listening to the #1 Steeler podcast in the land. I am Jay York Football. This is Mic'd Up Sports 1. Sammy, sling it.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Steelers Crazy on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.